Howdy everybody. Today I'm going to tell you about how the CBR650R works as a daily rider. I've been logging quite a few miles on this motorcycle, been riding around, track testing it, doing what I need to do for the giveaway bike thing, which if you don't know, this is a giveaway motorcycle on my website, gamingnoob.co. Go and check it out in the link down in the description below. It's a short sweepstakes, ends in, I think, just a few days here in April by the time this video goes live. So in today's video, I'll tell you what makes this a great daily motorcycle, what could be improved a little bit, and the things I would do to dial this bike in for beautiful creature comforts on the daily ride. Let's get started, shall we? Okay, so out of the box, the CBR650R is a pretty stout, dailyable motorcycle. Why do I say that? Well, it's comfortable to ride, man. It's a nice seating position. I've been out on rides with this thing for 3-4 hours at a time. The seat is very comfortable stock. The seating position very comfortable stock. You have ample space for a tank bag and a tail bag, which are my two essential items for any motorcycle you're going to be commuting or riding with daily. That's like the bare minimum to just kind of get you there and really allow you to do a lot more with your bike than you would think. Stock wind protection on this bike is pretty darn good, I will say. I think it's got a really nice amount of wind protection. The full fairings of this machine keeps you nice and comfortable as well. For those of you living in North America who are going to be riding this motorcycle on the highway a little bit more, this bike works really well on the highway, surprisingly. It has a nice stable presence on the highway. I think it actually performs way better as a straight line mile munching machine than a twisty road carving sport bike. It actually seems to prefer to just log some miles. That inline 4 is buttery smooth, just churns away, really lends itself very nicely to be a daily motorcycle. Why don't we get around these folks here a little bit? This is just taking a little too long. So that really is going to give this motorcycle a really nice feel on the highway if you're doing any kind of long distance commuting with it. Maybe you have like a 30, 40, 50 mile commute or something like that. This bike does great. Surprisingly gets pretty good fuel economy. I've seen, when I'm riding this motorcycle in a pretty chill way, almost 50 miles to the gallon, which is pretty damn good for an inline 4 that you would think is going to be, you know, churning up the gas pretty good, but actually because it's in a relatively low state of tune, it does great. The other thing that's great about this bike as a daily bike, virtually no heat coming off of this motorcycle at all. It runs really cool because it's a relatively detuned motor. This doesn't even make 100 horsepower, which the speed freaks among you in the audience will now say, oh, that bike's not even worth my time. But compared to the Aprilia RS660, for example, this bike is a very nice daily rider because it's not hot, it's comfortable. You know it's going to run forever like a top because it's a Honda, and it has ample accommodations for the tank bag and the tail bag like I mentioned. The other area this bike makes a great daily rider or a more like average street bike is the passenger accommodations are pretty good. Back behind me, I did some testing with it. The seat is pretty comfortable. It's pretty wide too. The passenger pegs are in a good spot too. So if you ride 2-up, you know, I wouldn't recommend doing this all the time 2-up. It's not exactly designed for, you know, a lot of 2-up riding. It doesn't have a lot of torque to propel you down the road. I think if you're going to do a lot of 2-up riding and you want something in this category, the GSX-8R would make a little bit more sense as a motorcycle to do that with, but this bike can certainly do it. A couple areas for improvement. I would say lack of cruise control is a bummer on this machine. I think that is a very, very missed feature on this bike. And I get it, it's a cable throttle. They didn't want to update the whole suite of electronics or whatever. That would be very expensive for Honda to do. So we're stuck with the cable throttle, no cruise control. It's no problem. If you guys saw my GSX-8R modification videos and the series I did last year with that bike as a giveaway, you guys will know that I installed a throttle lock system on that bike and it worked great. I really am a big fan of the Atlas throttle locks. I have one on my Ducati Scrambler Desert sled. You simply tap the button on it and it just holds it in place. It's just a little friction pad, and so it's one of the better systems because you can't get it. You're not really locking the throttle, so to speak. It's just pushing it up against the housing. It does make it awesome for daily riding is the E-clutch. If you are going to be using this motorcycle in dense, heavy traffic, pulling the clutch, pulling out the clutch, constantly stop and go, if you are someone who struggles with using your left hand to ride, this is a great feature. So you guys will see here, I'll drop it down to second gear, drop it down to first gear. We're not using the clutch. We can completely come to a stop right here and not use the clutch. So that makes this a pretty sweet daily bike. Take away here, no clutch needed, no problem. Really nice to use. Out of the box, it's pretty quiet stock, obviously, because it's got the new Euro 5 compliant exhaust and all that good stuff. But you know, I think if you were to put a full pipe on this machine with a nice baffle, put a flash on it, you would get some really nice results out of it. But honestly, right now, it's lovely. It's a lovely place to sit. It's quiet, you know, it's not too loud. It's a really nice premium look out of the dash here. I really love this like blacked out dash area. I think the TFT looks phenomenal, super clear and easy to read. That's stuff that I look for in a daily style motorcycle, and this bike has it in spades, and it's just a really nice place to sit and just log some miles. I think you'd be surprised at the types of distances you could cover comfortably with this machine. This is not a bike that's only reserved for quick blasts downtown or, you know, riding on twisty roads or stuff like that. This is a very flexible motorcycle. It can do a lot of different stuff, and that's kind of what it was designed to do, and it's pretty impressive to see. So one thing to note, being that this is an inline 4 motorcycle, that's part of the charm of it, is that you get a bit of like a buzzy kind of feeling through the bars and through the foot pegs at certain RPMs. That's one of the cool parts about an inline 4, is that kind of fizzy, effervescent character that it has. It revs out really nice. It sounds like a real sport bike. It feels like a real sport bike, you know? But do note that the kind of vibrations and rumblings you get out of it, some people might find it annoying. At certain RPMs, to me it's a little rattly, it's a little pingy, vibrational, but otherwise it's a very balanced motor. Inline 4s tend to have a very balanced and smooth nature about them, compared to the parallel twins we're seeing in the market right now. So that is a downside to this machine, is that because it is an inline 4, you don't get you know, good immediate accessible torque out of it. You gotta work the gearbox a little bit, you gotta rev it out a little bit. If you guys look at a dyno graph of this machine versus its main competitor, in my opinion, the GSX-8R, we'll put up 2 pictures right here. If you see the torque of this motorcycle down low versus the torque of that bike, I think the GSX-8R makes something to the tune of like 50% more torque by about 3,000 or 4,000 RPM, which is a humongous difference. And you know, 3,000 to 6,000 RPM is where you spend a lot of time on your motorcycle, right? Like I'm clicking up the gears here, and you know, it's between sort of 3,000 and 6,000 or 7,000 RPM, and that's really where the meat of the power is, right? Going through a little bumpy section of road back there, another reason this is a pretty sweet daily rider is that it's sporty. It's got some relatively stiff suspension. It uses the Showa big piston single function fork, but it's not nearly as stiff as the looks would make you believe. I actually find this motorcycle to be very compliant. I don't think it's super stiff. It's got a steel frame. It's a steel diamond frame, comes off the headstock, and so what it does is it has a little bit of compliance built into the frame. It's a little bit more, you know, squishy than an ultra rigid aluminum frame, and that's pretty good. If you're gonna hit some potholes with this bike, you're gonna ride it around in your local area, you know, you want to make sure that it's not going to be horrendous to ride. And compared to a real super sport, it's not nearly as aggressive. So I mean, overall, it's a very competent daily bike. Very flexible, very flattering, very easy to use. The E-clutch adds an even nicer layer of, you know, daily rideability to it that I really appreciate. It's a bike that can do a lot, man. It can really do a lot. It certainly is geared a little bit more on the comfort and touring side of things, as opposed to true blue sport bike intentions. But the inline 4 it gives you a nice kind of, you know, sporty intention that, you know, if you want to zing it off the red line a little bit, leaving a light, it gives enough excitement in your life to have you feeling good. I think it's an exciting little motorcycle. So comfy to ride, makes a great sound, kind of heavy, but really nice accommodations for daily rideability. Honda's been doing this sort of thing for a long time, and this is kind of an old school bike in its execution and delivery. We used to have bikes like this all the time, the inline four, more road going oriented models. Think about the Suzuki Bandits, the FZ6s. I mean, there were so many of those bikes that basically were this, and this bike's been around since 2014, and it kind of like worked its way into this new category. So I think it's a really sweet bike, man. But boys, that's gonna wrap up my opinions of this motorcycle as a daily machine. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you think this would be a good daily rider for you? Yes or no? I know that it is gonna work very different in different markets for depending on where you are. So let me know in the comments down below. Remember, it's a giveaway bike on yammynoob.co. We're doing a different bike every month this year. We have no plans on slowing down. It's gonna be a ton of fun. Make sure you head over to the website. Thanks so much for checking it out. We'll catch you in the next one. See you later.
Wake up! You're dreaming! You're dreaming! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! None of this is real! None of it's real! None of it's real! Wake up! Keep watching Yammy Noob.